It's been a while since I've done one of these. It's time to do another Yu-Gi-Oh! Character rankings, this time on Jaden Yuki's Ace Monsters. Not counting the Supreme King because the Supreme King is practically a different character, even though it was still Jaden but it was him possessed. So the candidates are Neos, Flame Wingman, Yubel, Wing Karibo, Blade Edge because that was his main ace in the main deck before Neos, Electrum because that was considered his ultimate boss monster before he got Neos, and finally Honest because that was a temporary ace monster for a season for him. Yes, it didn't belong to him originally, but still considered a temporary ace for a season until he found the owner of it. And I'm going to be ranking them based on their design and anime appearances with base form first, and yes, there will be evolved forms in this one because almost all of Jaden's Ace Monsters does have an evolved form, and this is not counting any of those being a fusion of two of their main aces. So basically no Neo's Wise Man. And if a fused form is the main ace like Flame Wingman, that will be counted as the base form. Yes, when it comes to evolved forms, Neos will definitely have the advantage because it has so many forms in comparison to the others, but that doesn't mean I like them more than the other ones. Because remember, base form matters first. But anyway, with all the criteria out of the way, let's begin. So at the bottom of my list, it's Wing Karibo. A durable furball with wings, and it is the least coolest of the design by default. Because of that, it's meant to be cute. But then evolving it to Wing Karibo level 10 looks a little menacing for a furball. And I really like the dragon-like armor that Wing Karibo got along with a huge expansion on the wings. Next, which will be number 6, it will be Honest. Honest is basically an angel, which I do like angels, although the other cards just look cooler because in my opinion superheroes look cooler than angels. And they also have evolved forms on top of that. In which we go to number 5, which is Elemental Hero Blade Edge. Blade Edge's armor aesthetic looks pretty cool. Not my favorite armor design, but pretty decent. But when we evolve him to Wild Edge, I don't really like his design there. It just looks like a caveman with a sword, and yes, I get Wild Heart is basically like a caveman, but I don't really like it. And then when it goes to Plasma Bite, I do kind of like it, although a little really bulky on the armor. To number 4, it's Electrum. Electrum looks like the ultimate superhero of justice, that also has the power of every element within him except for dark. Design-wise, reminds me of Reverse Splash, but I do really like the design of being the ultimate hero of justice, especially the gold-like armor, which is usually associated with every attribute within it, or the greatest superhero of all times. And then number 3, unfortunately, is Flame Wingman. Flame Wingman's design looks pretty decent. I really like the flaming dragon hand on his right side, although I always find it weird that he only has one wing instead of two, and also his face design is a little weird. But then when we evolve him to Shining Flare Wingman, now Shining Flare Wingman just looks absurdly awesome. I really like the metallic-like armor, and especially the glowing aesthetic on it. Looks better than Electrum as well, looks more powerful than even the Ultimate Hero of Justice. And then to number 2, the dark side of Jaden, basically, Yubel. Base form design looks pretty decent, especially the demonic dragon bits on Yubel. And then when we evolve her, or maybe both since in the Japanese she is both genders, but mostly a she, to Terror Incarnate. That looks pretty terrifying, seeing Yubel turn into a two-headed looking dragon, being a demonic one at that too. Terror indeed. But then when we go to the Ultimate Nightmare, not only that she's a terrifying looking two-headed dragon with of course demonic looking features on them, she also has demonic looking faces on her extra heads along with her chest. Very terrifying indeed. And then to number 1, Elemental Hero Neos. Of course, for being the last one, this is pretty obvious. Now Neos' base form design, I really like it, an alien looking superhero. But when it comes to his evolved forms, some of them I'm a little mixed with, and I don't really like it compared to the base form. And in some cases, I like the other monsters' evolved forms more than his. So I'm going to be doing the second rankings for the Neos fusions right now, and I'm going to be saying them in order on worst to best in my opinion. Aqua Neos, my least favorite design. I just personally don't like the design of Aqua Neos. Glow Neos is okay to me, I just mainly like the glow aesthetic on Glow Neos. And then we go to Grand Neos, where I really like the armor design and the color scheme of it, but compared to Flare Scarab, I like the color design as well, and in my personal opinion looks cooler than Grand Neos, but not as cool as Dark Neos, which I really like how vicious it actually looks with the color scheme. And the wings look pretty cool as well. And then my favorite single Neos fusion design, Air Neos, which just looks awesome with the super heroic looking wings, which could also look like an angel in some cases. And then when it comes to some of his other fusions, Marine Neos, which is the only next fusion, in my opinion it looks cooler than Flare Neos, but still not as cool as Shining Flare Wingman in my opinion. And then when it comes to the triple fusion, I do not like Magma Neos design. It looks like a complete mess, and in my opinion it might be even worse than Aqua Neos. But then we go to Storm Neos, which looks really awesome, definitely higher than Air Neos in my opinion, which to my favorite triple fusion design, which is Chaos Neos, which just looks awesome with its aesthetic. And then we go to the ultimate Neos fusion itself, which we got God Neos, which I really love the angelic looking design on God Neos. Although really bulky at the same time though. But still my favorite Neos design that is fused with the Neospatians because it just looks pretty godly. And then to the stuff that is not with the Neospatians, we do got Neos Knight, which looks pretty cool. Although in my opinion not as cool as the Neos single fusions. Some of them at least. And then we go to my favorite design since there's no Neos Wiseman here. Rainbow Neos looks even godlier than even God Neos. I mean a legendary god dragon with every element fused with the space superhero. Yes, Rainbow Neos out of many monsters to this day is still one of my favorite designs. It definitely looks godlier than even God Neos. So that's my rankings on the Neos fusions, which also makes Neos number 1 because he has some forms that are cooler than the other ones. So that's it for these rankings. What do you think of them? How would you rank Jaden's Ace monsters? And how would you rank them if there's no evolved forms involved? And what other monsters would you consider to be one of Jaden's aces? Because everyone has different perspective when it comes to it. Now I know that Neos gets the unfair advantage for having the most forms, but when it comes to counting evolved forms, you just kinda have to have all of them together. And sticking to the main one he uses most often is kinda weird because it will be related to only Flare Scarab, because Flare Neos is the one that he uses the most, and I really do not want to exclude all the other ones. But other than that, just tell me how you guys would rank these, and this is based on my opinion, so my opinion can be trash to some people, and nothing is fact here. But other than that, that's it for this, and the next one will be Chaz. And see you all next time.